go to Matthew Lund of the Green Party. York Simcoe, and in particular Bradford, has a very strong and proud agricultural community. What do you and your party do? What will you and your party do to help farmers in this riding?
Absolutely. And my uncle's a farmer in this area. His name is John Hodgson. He's been farming in this community now for more than 40 years. Agriculture is the backbone of this riding. Farmers locally are small business owners, and the Greens are the party for small business. What we can't keep having are mega industrial agricultural conglomerates coming in and taking over at the expense of the family farms. We need to invest locally in our agriculture, and we've got to keep environmental sanctions on it. We don't want to remove all of the environmental laws that we have just so that certain parties can come in and turn the Holland Marsh into a series of condos. We need to focus and invest locally. We need to do this for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse McLean, the NDP.
So the NDP has some really clear ideas of what we think farmers need, and if you're in the room, let me know if we're right or wrong. So we need to maintain the marketing boards, right? This is in order to protect farmers and guarantee the security of the small farm. The Conservatives has abolished these in the past and handed those interests over to foreign entities. So what's also happened is we're making really bad trade deals. When we go into trade deals, they can't be these huge, all-encompassing things. We need to focus on one sector at a time so that we can give it the attention that's needed. NAFTA, something the NDP had nothing to do with, but we warned that this would happen, that we would see the wheat board go the way that it did. And we can do a lot better than that. The red tape, this is the one time you'll hear me talking about advocating to get rid of red tape, because we need something like the national food policy that will help farmers. This is where we're really lacking, and these are concrete examples of exactly what the NDP can do for farmers, not simply rhetoric and acknowledgement that you need help.
Thank you. John.
Well, of course, my answer is similar. And before you think I'm always picking on Pierre and the Liberals, this is the graph of the debt of France. And look, it started to grow exponentially in 1974, too. So it didn't matter who was in power, they would have all done it to you anyway, because it was being done all over the world. But Pierre gets credit for being the poster boy for our national debt we didn't have to owe. As for farmers, if you count all of the interest they pay on all this big machinery and all their farms and on everything that they have to pass along to you in prices and hope they can collect out of you when you're complaining it's too expensive, back to the same problem. Pierre's interest made it too expensive for the farmers, like it made food too expensive for you. And if we can just reprogram the bank's computers with the Spock solution and let everybody have an interest-free account, they can cut their prices for food once they're not paying a fortune in interest on their equipment.
Thank you. Scott Davidson from the Conservative Party.
Thank you. I've known a lot of farm families in this riding, and I've been around this riding and spoke to many farmers. One critical thing they reached out, especially in Bradford, was interprovincial trade. There was relatively no lettuce growing in the marsh due to subsidies in Quebec, subsidies to trucking companies, and I think it's something that the federal government can actually reach out and sit down with the provinces and look at interprovincial trade. The other thing, again, is infrastructure. A lot of farmers burning propane at triple the cost of natural gas. The infrastructure isn't there for them. As well as hydro. We have lots of farms still on phase 1 hydro. They don't have the power. They want to get into food processing, which I think is a big opportunity for them, especially in the marsh. So I think we have to provide the infrastructure to help farmers in that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean Tanaka from the Liberal Party.
So to all the farmers in the room, I just want to say thank you. And that it was Canadian Agricultural Day yesterday. So for those that don't know that, they should be thanking a farmer for making sure that they are celebrated for the contribution that they make to our communities. And so it's the Liberal Party that has always supported supply management as well as its dairy farmers. Let's not forget that half of the Conservative Party voted for a leader that was ready to throw out dairy farmers and kick them to the curb in an ideological commitment to free trade. But it was the Liberal government who stood up to Trump when he tried to flood our market with an inferior product. So it is a Liberal Party that is committed to agriculture, to supply management, to the dairy farmers. And so again, just thank you to the farmers that came out tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Robert Kurtz from the People's Party of Canada.
To our constituents, I say, do you want more hypocrisy and betrayal? The situation is simply this. Supply side management is something that the People's Party is against. We're just against it because it basically, yes, it can help farmers, but it increases the price of eggs and poultry and milk and everything else for the rest of us. So we are opposed to supply side management, and we're not going to succumb to the desire to be ingratiated by a particular constituency. We can't continue to be hypocrites. Unfortunately, if we're for free enterprise and competition, then we can't go around picking and choosing which industries we're going to basically artificially support. So if you want more betrayal, which is going to lead you to a very disastrous end, then please ask us to be hypocrites and tell you what you want to hear. Unfortunately, I have to say on this one, no, we're not going in that direction. We are opposed to supply side economics.
Thank you very much. And thank you to